Live at Daybreak, this is 13 News Now.
It's the right thing to do. It's something that needs to happen. It's a story that needs to be told.
He says he's being called to Charlottesville to tell the story of Heather Heyer.
This morning, the message a local artist wants to leave behind.
Wait a minute, I'm not finished.
Coming up, an explosive press conference from President Trump. I'm Emily Rao in Washington. We'll break down what you missed as the fallout continues.
And live to the ocean front, that arena plan is not a done deal just yet. This morning, the new deadline to come up with the cash. Good morning to you. I'm Andre Sr.
And I'm Lucy Bustamante. We're getting your Wednesday started off right with a check of traffic and weather together. So let's take you live outside to Hampton. Take a look at this sky. Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful there, but something is brewing just off the coast right now. Hurricane Gert churning things up. You see it right there on the radar. So let's check in with Tim now to see how the storm is affecting our coastline. Hey, Tim.
Hey, good morning, guys. Even though the storm is moving away, high rip current risk and rough team, guys.
And then we do have this breaking news. A head-on collision in Norfolk claims the lives of 2 people. These are live pictures. The scene just cleared moments ago. This happened at East Little Creek Road near Nancy Drive just after 1 o'clock this morning.
Now, the road has reopened now. Police tell us that the preliminary information has revealed that a Chrysler 200 was driving in the wrong direction and struck a Hyundai Sonata head-on. Drivers in both vehicles died. Their identities will be released after their families have been notified.
Also this morning, that explosive news conference at Trump Tower. President Trump reignites a firestorm of controversy now over his response to the deadly violence in Charlottesville. He is standing by his initial statement, saying they are very fine people on both sides.
Well, ABC's Emily Rao joins us live from Washington this morning with the very latest. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Lucy and Andre. President Trump appeared before the press to talk about infrastructure, but the topic quickly turned to Charlottesville, and the president was defiant and combative.
It was a horrible, horrible day. Wait a minute, I'm not finished.
President Trump defending his decision to wait 2 days to condemn the white supremacist in Charlottesville by name.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
President Trump also defending some of the initial protesters who took to the streets in the Unite the Right rally.
But not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me.
Reaction to the president's latest comments, swift. Republican Speaker of the House Paul Ryan saying we must be clear. White supremacy is repulsive. This bigotry is counter to all this country stands for. There can be no moral ambiguity. But from the former leader of the KKK, immediate praise. David Duke thanking the president on Twitter for his honesty and courage.
And this morning, the fallout continues. Now 6 members have pulled out of the president's manufacturing council. President Trump, though, brushing off those departures, even biting back, saying that those companies, those CEOs, are just embarrassed because they outsource their manufacturing. In Washington, Emily Rao, 13 News Now.
Incredible developments. All right, Emily, thank you so much. Well, the high tensions have vandals taking to Washington, defacing the Lincoln Memorial. A crew from the National Park Service working to remove that red spray paint says that the message is not clear, but starts with a very vulgar word. More graffiti was found on a sign directing visitors to the Smithsonian.
We're learning new details about the state police chopper that crashed while monitoring the violence in Charlottesville. Records show that same chopper was damaged during an emergency landing back in 2010. It was fully repaired, and aviation experts say there is no evidence that shows a link between that incident and Saturday's deadly crash. That is when Lieutenant Jay Cullen and Trooper Pilot Berkey Bates were killed. Bates, by the way, will be laid to rest on Friday in Richmond. Cullen's funeral is Saturday in Chesterfield. A memorial will be held today for the woman run over and killed during the demonstrations in Charlottesville. A local artist will be there to be part of it. Sam Welty says he'll help create a memorial to honor Heather Heyer.
There's nothing that I like more as an artist, that I enjoy and value more, than telling wonderful stories about great people who do great things.
The memorial, or the mural, will be going up in downtown near the mall, a few blocks from where Heather was killed.
You can look for much more on the fallout from the violence in Charlottesville right after daybreak on GMA.
Surf's up at the oceanfront. Live pictures right now. Hurricane Gert is churning up some big trouble along the coast.
A former state trooper sentenced for this confrontation, what he told the unarmed man that he shot right before he learned his punishment.
All right, good morning to you. Your time now is 6:44 on this Wednesday morning. We're checking traffic and weather together 6 times an hour, and you can see it right there. Hurricane Gert churning off the coast. It is not going to be a problem for us directly, but it is causing rip currents, already causing 1 death in the Outer Banks yesterday. Tim has an updated forecast here in just a few minutes.
But first, the emotions pour out when a former South Carolina state trooper learns his fate for shooting an unarmed man.
Can I see your license, please? Get out of the car!
Sean Gruber claims to suffer from PTSD from a previous shooting. He pleaded guilty last year to shooting LeVar Jones during a 2014 traffic stop. He apologized to Jones right before he was sentenced yesterday.
You did nothing wrong, and I screwed up. Plain and simple, I made the biggest mistake in my life.
Gruber was sentenced to 12 years behind bars, but he could only serve 3 for good behavior. New from overnight, a police chase comes to an end in Norfolk. We were there right after the people inside ditched the car on Marshall Avenue and Olney Road. Emergency dispatchers tell us that it started in Chesapeake just before 2:30. Police there chased them across the Compostela Bridge. That's when Norfolk police took over. We're working to get much more information on exactly what happened. We're going to let you know as soon as we get more details.
Live now to Virginia Beach. The plan to build an arena just blocks from this location you see here hits another snag. The city had to give the developers an extra 60 days to close on a loan to build an 18,000-seat arena at the oceanfront. Now, we're told the developer needs the extension to finalize the financing for that venue, and that means Mid-Atlantic Arena needs to come up with the cash no later than November 6th. The bank backing the loan says progress is being made on a solution.
All right, we have some breaking news to report this morning. We are learning that all of Baltimore's Confederate monuments were removed overnight.
Yeah, you can see now the empty monument pedestal with graffiti saying Black Lives Matter and terrorists. We will keep following the story and bring you any new updates as they become available. But a couple of the statues have already been removed this morning so far. They started the process at about 3 o'clock this morning, and already some of them have already been taken away. So we'll keep updated on this story. A big story continuing to develop out of the Baltimore area this morning.
Incredible time in American history, that's for sure. All right, well, we are tracking Hurricane Gert this morning. The storm is well off the coast, but it is churning up the waves. Those rip currents, they have already turned deadly for one man. On the Outer Banks, a tourist drowned after getting caught in one. It happened at the Cape Hatteras National Seashore. We learned that the 63-year-old man died trying to save another man when he got pulled into the current. The other swimmer made it back safely.
And we go back to the Virginia Beach oceanfront now. The red flags will likely be flying again today, warning swimmers of rough surf. Lifeguards say these are some of the biggest waves they have seen all summer long. Beachgoers in Croatan told us just standing in the water was tough.
We're walking as hard as we can just to try to even keep up with it. It's ripping right through our legs.
So what do you do if you get stuck in a rip current? Well, experts want you to swim out of the current and parallel to the shore like you see here on this diagram. This way, not toward the shore. And if you can't escape, try to tread water or float while calling or waving for help. And try to relax and let the waves do the work to carry you back to the beach.
All right, and don't forget, you can track Hurricane Gert on the 13 News Now app. We also have a full list of resources to help keep you ready during storm season. If you don't have it, download it today. It's a great app. It's free on the App Store and on Google Play.
All right. Tim is here now with more on Gert and the rest of today's weather.
Yeah, guys, Gert is moving away from the coastline. At its closest, is about 200 miles off afternoon.
All right,
Tim, thank you so much. All right, we want to leave with some live pictures out of Baltimore right now, where some Confederate monuments were removed overnight. The Robert E. Lee statue and Stonewall Jackson monuments were removed overnight by city leaders. You
can see the graffiti there. There's much more to this story. Good Morning America is going to continue the coverage on the removal of the Confederate monuments in Baltimore. We'll see you at noon.
Bye-bye.